Hello everyone, you're welcome to the Survey Tribe YouTube channel, and today we're going to be talking about how to perform independent sample t-test on SPSS. How to perform independent sample t-test on SPSS. Now let's dive in. What is independent sample t-test? Now, the independent sample t-test is simply a test used when you want to compare the means of two independent groups. You want to compare the outcome of two independent groups. For instance, males versus females or junior versus senior groups. Now, when to use an independent sample t-test? You use an independent sample t-test when you have one continuous dependent variable, you have one categorical independent variable with two groups. It must not be more than two groups. You have one categorical variable, independent variable with two groups, and the two groups are independent of each other. Now, for you to understand the difference between continuous variable and categorical variable, dependent variable and independent variable, check our YouTube channel to see the differences between these variables. We talked about that in a particular video. Now, what does it mean for two groups being independent of each other? It simply means no individual appears in both groups. No individual appears in both groups. That is, each participant belongs to only one group and not both. For instance, male student versus female student. A male student cannot be a female student at the same time. It's either he belongs to a male group, it's either he is male rather, or he or she is female. Another example, pilot versus medical doctors. It's either you're a pilot or you're a medical doctor, because both professions are time demanding. You can't be both at a time. I don't know if you get my point. So when we talk about two groups being independent of each other, we are talking about both of them, no individual appearing in both groups, so they are mutually exclusive. Now let's take, for instance, we want to see whether test scores differ between male and female students. The test scores here is the continuous dependent variable, while student is the independent variable with two different groups, which are male and female. Students are the independent variable is the categorical independent variable with two categories, male and what? Female. Are you getting my point? Another example is, if you want to see whether a statistically significant difference exists in the employee performance between senior staff and junior staff, you also use independent sample t-test. So I'm just giving different examples. Are you getting my point now? Now let's go to our SPSS and conduct a practical scenario. Now let's say, for instance, we want to check the performance of male and female employees. We want to check the performance of male and female employees in a particular organization. And now we don't know whether these female employees are performing better than the male employees or vice versa. So what do? We come to analyze. You go to compare means. You come to independent sample t-test. You click on it. Then you put the continuous dependent variable, which is employee performance, under the test variable box. Then you come and look at gender under grouping variable. Then you come here, you define groups. Group 1, group 2. You put 2. Why? I'm going to tell you the reason why you're putting 1 and 2. The reason why you're putting 1 and 2, remember when we coded, look at the gender here. 1 is for Okay, let me show that to you. I'm going to come back to that. Remember, for gender, you put male and female. These are two groups, male and female. So one is male, two is female. So that is why we are putting one there. So we go back, analyze, you come to compare means, independent samples t-test. Remember, your dependent continuous variable comes where? Under the test variables. Then your independent categorical variable with two groups, which is gender, comes under what? Grouping variable. Then you define the groups 1 and 2, continue. Then you click on what? OK. Have you seen it now? So we can see that the SPSS gave us an output of 3 tables. An output of what? 3 tables. So here you can see the group statistics, 10 males and 4 females participated in the study. Now look at the mean. 3.911 is lesser than 4.222, which means that the mean or the performance of female employee performance is higher than that of the male, but we don't know whether it is statistically significant or not. So we've got to check this independent samples test table. Now you come here, Levene's test for equality of variances. Now this will tell you whether you should make use of this row, the upper row or the lower row. That is equal variances assumed or equal variances not assumed. Now the first thing you need to do is to check your Levene's test for equality of variances. Now there is a rule that states, which is stated here, when Levene's test is significant, that is p less than 0.05, you use the equal variances not assumed row. And when Levene's test is not significant, that is p greater than 0.05, you use the equal variances assumed row. Now you come here, you see here that the p-value of Levene's test is greater than 0.05. That means it is not, Levene's test for equality of variances is not significant. Hence, you are to use this equal variances assumed row. That is to say, for you to determine whether it is significant or not, then you check this two-sided p. Are you seeing it? You use the two-sided p. This shows 0.511. This means that the difference between male and female employees' performance is not statistically significant. Why? Because 0.511 is greater than 0.05. Are you getting my point? So it is not what? Statistically significant. Now this 95% confidence interval of the difference simply means that we are 95% confident that this result, it is not statistically significant. That is to say that the employee performance, there is no statistically significant difference between the performance of male employees and female employees. So this difference we saw here in the group statistics, it is not significant enough for you to say that female performance is higher, female employee performance is higher than male employee performance. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So this is simply, this independent sample effect size is, now you see that, so there's no statistically significant difference. Then you come to the independent samples effect sizes. Now this is to tell you the degree of effect. Are we getting it? And we make use of Cohen's D. Now, what value are we going to look at here? 0.401. Now, the negative sign here is not significant, it's not important. It just tells you the direction of the effect. Now, the Cohen's D is a standardized effect size that measures how large the difference between two group means is, expressed in standard deviation unit. Now, you see, if you have a Cohen's D of 0.00 to 0.19, it means it's very small or negligible. If you have 0.20 to 0.49, it is small. 0.50 to 0.79, medium. Then greater than or equal to 0.8 is what? Large. Now, if in our result here we saw that we had 0.4, this means that the degree of effect, or the effect size, is what? Is small, using this criterion here. So if we want to report it, we can simply report it by stating an independent sample test was conducted to compare employee performance between male and female employees. There was no statistically significant difference in employee performance between males. Then you put the mean, which is as stated there, 3.91 and 0.79. Can you see it? This is the standard deviation of 0.79. Then female 4.22, 0.73. You can see it here, approximately 0.74. Then T12. Remember, we made use of equal variances assumed. See T 0 minus 0.678. Degree of freedom 12. Are you seeing it? P, we made use of the two-sided P. That is what you make use of, 0.51. Then Cohen's D minus 0.40. So this is how you conduct an independent sample t-test to achieve your research objective. Thank you for watching. If you have any question, or you would like us to create a video on any area of data analysis on SPSS you're confused about, do feel free to comment in the comment section below. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead. Bye bye.